What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need some help before it's too late, Mom.
We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Carry Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Following our crime prevention tips from the Royston Christopher Nevis Police Force. Today we focus on tips to prevent and reduce the risk of being assaulted. If you live alone, use only your last name and initials on mailboxes and in phone directories. Get to know your neighbors, people you can turn to if you're worried. And if you come home and find a door or window open or signs of a forced entry, don't go in. Go to the nearest phone and call the police.
This is a public service announcement from Crime Stoppers St. Kitts and Nevis.
If you know the chief of PC, if you know they try to shoot me, if you know about a break-in or a big drug smuggling, if you know it, tell it. If you know it, tell it. Tell 1-800-TIPS. TIPS. Tell Crime Stoppers. Tell 1-800-TIPS. TIPS.
If you know it, tell it. Tell Crime Stoppers. Tell 1-800-8477-TIPS.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Mavis White Archibald with your safety tip for today. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Test smoke alarms every month. If they are not working, change the batteries.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
27 minutes moving up to the hour. That's 27 minutes moving up to the hour of 10 o'clock. Welcome back to the morning show and welcome to Fire Talk with yours truly and Timothy in the studio with me for now. Romel will be here shortly, but we're going to start the program. But before we go any further, I should say, salutations and greetings to you, my friend.
Greetings to you, GQ.
Yes,
greetings to all the listening audience.
Yeah, man. Listening and viewing.
And viewing as well.
Yeah,
right.
and talk about viewing. We got an early shout out from Ronaldo Griffin, the man Sonny Boy there. In,
Dan Andy is there already.
Yeah,
okay, nice man, Sonny Boy.
He's in June. All right, so greetings to Sonny Boy and greetings to everyone viewing and listening to the program.
Of course.
All right, so this morning we're going to be looking at hindrance to the fire service while you guys are working. Over to you, Timothy.
All right, good morning again. Today's topic, as Mr. GQ has said, is that, we're looking at hindrances for the fire services. Things that would prevent us to perform our duties at our optimal best. Now, when we look at traffic movement or even traffic adhering to the sirens, we find that persons, they tend to not adhere to the siren. And we want to admonish the people of the Federation to, whenever you hear a siren, it doesn't even have to be fire siren, whether it be police, ambulance, we're asking persons to pull over to your left and allow the emergency vehicles to pass. Sometimes too, persons tend to race with the emergency vehicles. If the emergency vehicle is behind them, you see them trying to speed off to stay ahead of the vehicle. We're asking persons to desist from such practice. You know, pull over on the left, allow the emergency vehicles to pass. You never could tell what the emergency is or who they are responding to. It might very well be someone that you care about dearly, and you providing that obstacle for the emergency vehicle, it means that your loved one could suffer a bit longer.
Right.
Also to
parking on small
roads. Now, you have to bear in mind that, well, let's talk about our fire appliance. Our fire appliance is a very wide appliance. And when you have persons parking on either side of the road, persons want to park close to where they live, right in front of their gate. But then we have to be mindful that, hey, suppose there is a fire in your neighborhood, then how would that affect the fire appliance from getting to, you know, whether it be your neighbor house, your house, etc. So
and to what you're saying, I remember when one of our guests was here last year, when her house was on fire, and you guys had to use the back road.
A back road, jump wall in order
over wall to get to, because of the vehicles.
That were parking on a road that was fairly small. Yes. All right. So the next one we want to touch on is fire hydrants. Now, the fire hydrants is an essential means for us to get additional water supply. So our trucks would come fully equipped with water. However, that water supply that is in the truck can be depleted within a matter of minutes. So we, as fire services, we rely on the fire hydrants to get water. And if persons are parking on these fire hydrants, then it makes our job more difficult. We either have to then go a little bit further in order for us to find an available hydrant for us to connect. So if it means running a longer length of hose, then the truck now has to then traverse further and then get back to the scene once our water in our appliance is depleted. So I want to admonish persons, be mindful. Our hydrants, they are painted yellow, and you would see letters FC, FS, you know, to indicate that, hey, it's a fire hydrant right here.
Prank calls, and I know it's not number one on your list here, but I know the last time we looked at the statistics, you made mention that you were, planning a new promotion, so to speak, or bring some more awareness to getting down the numbers of prank calls that you guys are experiencing from last year.
Prank calls are very serious. Mr. Williams, you wanna?
Yeah, well, we in recent times we don't receive many prank calls. No. What we receive are calls where we go on site and we don't find anything, and sometimes it's a case where maybe somebody might have just smelled something and they call us. And so when we get on site, there's nothing. Now, we don't hold it as a prank call. We might hold it maybe as a false call, or maybe we just put that we went and seen but nothing was found. There was a period where the prank calls was rampant, and that is when we had a 333 line, which is a free call, and that would have been how should I put it, pre fire summer safety program. I mean, prior to that, and during the summer we'd have a lot of prank calls from children and so forth. But after summer program, and persons are more educated and they understand the what it means, or what happens when you make a prank call. The amount of resources has to be depleted just to respond to that prank call. I think persons are more aware. Even the children know they are more aware, so they would not just willfully make a prank call. There are some who might still do it, but it's not as rampant as before. And again, I believe it's because of all of these programs like this that we're pushing now. The lot of fire prevention, a lot of inspection. So even parents now are aware. So I don't know if parents may be talking to their children, which is contributing to the decrease in prank calls. So like I said, we don't really get a much prank call like that anymore.
Yeah, I know, but the concern for you guys was to get the numbers down further from the numbers that you're in.
Yes, well, the numbers are they're dwindling. We want the numbers to go down in all areas, of course, not just in the prank calls. But if they are going down, like I mentioned, we don't respond to many prank calls now. So it is still a focus, but we focus on those fires that we have, which are recurring fires, like bush fires, and those are the ones they want going down.
As it relates to policies that can help you guys, I know. As you've seen that we're talking about hindrances for you guys. As it relates to the traffic, if you were to put forward a recommendation for a policy, what would you recommend? Something that is, have you thought about it that can suffice for the public and for you guys?
We have thought about it, and one of the policies I think we would implement is parking over or too close to fire hydrant. Now, our hydrants are completely different to what you would see maybe in the US. Pedestrian type, those that are above ground. And we have a few of those, but those are mainly over on the Southeast Peninsula, or like Christophe Harbour property.
Port Zante as well.
Port Zante have some of the pedestrian type. So the other types, they're below grade, street level. Okay. So it is very easy. If you're not paying attention to just go and drive or park on a fire hydrant without you even knowing. So with that policy, it means then there would have to be other things in place to make those hydrants more visible. Now, because some of the hydrants most of the hydrants are in the street, you can't put a pedestrian hydrant in the street. In the basket, you have a problem. And to move those hydrants from in the street to the sidewalk,
that's another issue.
That's a lot of issue. Yes. That's work, logistics, that's things you got to order, the money you have to spend. So it's not just putting a policy in place, because while the policy is in place, persons might still genuinely park over the hydrant, not realizing that the hydrant is there because it is on the ground. I mean, they are painted a nice bright yellow. But it's not impossible for you to not realize that it's there. Right. So we even put markings on the wall, but sometimes you miss that as well. So it's a lot of other things would come with that policy.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to open the lines now, 465-2555 and 718-577-2916. If you have a suggestion or a recommendation as it relates to what we spoke about this morning, you can do so. Or if you have another concern or a question, you can do so now as well. That's 465-2555, 718-577-2916. Timothy?
What we would have to do as well.
Hold on,
sure.
Let's take this call. Hey, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, sir. Good, you.
Good morning.
To the fire officers. Do you guys play a role in the, how should I say, the inspection of public buildings and those structures that would house like tourists or persons coming to stay over, in terms of making sure they're up to the standard when it comes to fire safety and those mechanisms in place where the hoses and the connections and the type of extinguishers are in place? Do you guys, does the fire department play a role in that?
All right, thanks for your question.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Yes, we do play a role in doing inspections to public buildings and institutions that houses tourists for, whether vacation, etc. Hotels, guest houses, things that places like these, we normally go and inspect.
To add to that, the owners are persons who manage these type of buildings. They also are aware of the need to have such mechanisms in place. So they, even before we go to them, they're already calling us, say, hey, we needed to come in to check this, I need an inspection and so forth. Yes, sir.
Thanks for sharing that, Amel. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Morning. Can you turn the volume on your radio, please?
I would like to go to check along Durant Avenue, where vehicle pass on both sides. People hardly get up there. Durant Avenue.
All right, man. Durant Avenue.
Yeah. That's the one with that's it where Church of God is.
Why?
Yeah.
But that's
the one where the streets come real narrow on the end before you go down the steps.
Yes. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, JQ. Good morning, the Sunny Boy.
Yes,
Sunny Boy.
Yes, man.
I'm calling from New York. I'm admiring Sergeant Timothy and Sergeant Romero.
Yes, morning, Sunny
One
Boy.
of my favorite songs I watch every Tuesday. I wake up to that. And congratulations to you, GQ, too. And I appreciate you guys, my countrymen.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Bless both of you and GQ.
All right, man.
All right, Sunny Boy. Thanks much.
Sunny Boy. 465-2555. That's 2555 if you have a concern or a question. And those of you in the United States and Canada, 718-577-2916. As it relates to Durant.
Yes, the double parking thing is a real concern, especially for us. We drive a 8-foot wide truck. So you understand the kind of challenge Durant Avenue would pose for us. Durant Avenue is designed, the road is designed really, it's unusual. It starts wide and then it comes really narrow at the end. And I don't think our trucks would comfortably go to there, so we would not go to there because, have to make a turn either right or left would be almost impossible. It means that we have to go down the steps, right? But outside of Durant Avenue, we have a lot of double parking in other areas where I believe needs rectified, where they park, and that again will come with policy where persons park on one side of the street.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, with respect to parking and the hygiene, I believe the penalties to those offenses are too small. If the government increase penalties on this thing and be serious, people will understand what it's all about when it comes around fire and the fire equipment. And that is my part I have to say. Thank you all for the program. It's a nice program.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
familiar voice.
Familiar voice.
Thank you for listening. So you do agree. So that's one policy you as a recommendation to put forward.
Yes, but like I mentioned, it would come with a lot of other things. Because this is a serious offense in places like the US. These guys will actually break your vehicle and run the hose line through your car.
Wow.
Yeah, if you park next to the hydrant, they break your glass, send the hose to your vehicle, connect to the hydrant. These guys come to do a job and they're going to do the job.
Right, it's sending a statement.
Yeah. So persons would make sure that they don't park near hydrant. It would have been easy for us if we had pedestrian type hydrants that are visible. Right? It would have been much easier for us. But
you made mention, pardon me, Ramel.
Yeah.
Timothy, you made mention of when the siren is on and you're moving and vehicle is either trying to outrun the appliance. Let's say worst case scenario, an accident was to happen where the appliance hit a vehicle in one of those scenarios. What will be the outcome? Would you be responsible for the vehicle? Would the vehicle be, or the owner for the vehicle be responsible for their own?
Well, first off, I would say an investigation have to be launched. An official investigation have to be launched, and given all the parameters of what they find, then a suitable judgment would come. Now, the laws state that once you see an emergency vehicle, especially have on its siren and everything, you are supposed to give way. And with a vehicle not giving way to the emergency vehicle, they're breaking the law right then and there. But still, an official investigation would have to be launched into it.
Oh, so it's not automatic then. So it's not like you hit the truck, you were in you were responding to a fire or whatever the case may be. So it's not like, okay, because of that you get away scot-free.
They would have to look at everything that's surrounding that incident.
Yeah, it would be treated like an accident. Police would get involved, police do their checks, they come on site, just how you treat a normal accident. The same thing would be done.
Okay.
However, depending on the nature of the call that we are going on, we may just have to keep straight. And after that, we come back and and then it also depends on the nature of the collision as well, because you can't just drive off. Let's just say the person actually came out enough where you hit, especially their side, you would want to make sure that the person is safe, right? So again, there's a quick decision you have to make, and you have to prioritize in those cases.
What could probably be done
Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
From Pelen Timothy.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
Firefox.
Yeah. In relation to what he spoke about with giving way, just not actually give way. It's pull to the left and stop. And in relation to the hydrants, this program, I started this program in Nevis where we put a 5-foot span by the hydrants. You put 2 feet on either side of the hydrants and you mark it out in yellow. So nothing should park on that space. Right? This is something that was started in Nevis. So probably something you can look into and use in the meantime. That's my position for today.
All right.
Any response to his suggestion?
Well, the suggestion is not a bad one in terms of having that perimeter around the fire hydrant. But you just to ask the general public to be vigilant of these hydrants.
But again, there are areas where it is not practical.
Possible, yeah.
Because most of the hydrants are in the street. So you can't put anything in the street. Right? So it poses, because vehicles still need to pass over it. So you can't put anything to obstruct traffic. You could put that on the side of the street and hope that it is visible enough for people to see it. And people pay attention to these things. It's a good idea and something that we could try. Granted, the persons, and then we have to sensitize the person to what it is. So once person see it, they know not to park here and whatever the case is. with what Mr. Martin says, it's both. You go to the side and pull off, but you're still giving way because you're moving for me to pass. So it's still a giveaway, right? And this thing is so ridiculous because it happened recently. We were coming from Carambola, two fire trucks. Fire truck is small, so you can't immediately see them. We're coming across, we reach on FT Williams Highway, just about to pass the Sugar Factory Road where you come up to come on the highway. And we hear, and a Jeep came up because he don't want to be behind two big trucks. He came up as we pass in and right in front of us. Almost hit him. And what kind of rush you could be in that you can't wait behind two trucks? And we were not moving that slow.
That's what you're saying.
A person see me typing is just a matter of taking notes. just saying.
Well, talk about taking notes. I am taking note of the time. We just have about 5 more minutes before we wrap up the program.
Yeah, so two things I wanted to highlight. One,
before you do that, we have two calls. Let's take these two calls.
Sure.
Make them all last, and then over to you. Morning.
Hey, morning, sir.
Yes, morning.
Just want to point out to the fire department an observation where Public Works did some maintenance and they covered the fire hydrant. And I've appealed to them several times, and even your officers who was in the area doing certain things. And nobody seems to have gone and remove the dirt and make that fire hydrant obvious. I just hope and pray it will be done before something occurs. And I think that the fire department should probably go on a campaign and make sure all fire hydrants are known to the officers, because I guess you have transfers and stuff like that from one station to the next officers move about, and to make sure they are all the fire hydrants are obvious in the conspicuous in the area. Just a recommendation.
Before you go, can we get the location?
It's to the top of Thompson Street, Pons Pasha. If you drive up from Tucker Clark Primary School, right at the very top here, it's a small corner. Yes, they did some changes to the drain there. They took out the deepness of it.
Okay.
All right, man.
Thompson
Thanks for calling,
Street.
man.
Thompson Street, you said, right?
Yeah. Good morning.
Yes, morning.
Yes, morning.
When I spoke about marking the hydrants, I meant using paint, not putting down objects. Paint on either side of the hydrant and probably to the front of the hydrant. The yellow paint that we normally mark the hydrants with.
Just creating like a border around.
Okay, right. All right, Timothy, over to you.
I was going to touch on where the gentleman spoke about us doing inspections and so to buildings. What I find of late now, the insurances are getting involved in these inspections. So you would find an institution, especially who deals with tourists and things like that, they are without that inspection from the fire department, they are not granted that license or whatever from the insurance. So you would find that these institutions would come to us to ensure that we come and do an inspection with them. The next thing was in relation to the traffic accident. As Mr. Williams said, depending on the nature of the call that we are going on, we might just have to go and mark where the vehicle is, where our appliance was, mark the tires, and then we proceed to whatever serious engagement we were heading to.
All right. Ramel?
High jump patrols. High jump patrol.
Oh, yes.
The gentleman said he hopes we are ensuring that our officers are up to par with where the hydrants are. We have a vigorous hydrant patrol implementation where we go out on a daily, weekly basis and check these hydrants, and that is throughout the municipal stations. The airport, they do their thing on the airport, but for Sandy Point, Tabernacle, Bastille, Charlestown, they do go out and do hydrant patrol inspections.
Yeah, and we not to Well, not too far from now, we'll be going a bit further, where we are actually in collaboration with physical planning and water department, actually mapping these hydrants, mapping GPS mapping and what's not, so we could, look on a map and actually see where these hydrants are. So hopefully that would come on stream shortly, and that of course would also improve our responses. It would not stop us from going out doing hydrant patrols, because we still have to maintain and clean and paint and so forth. But at least even before we leave the station, we might be going to an unfamiliar area. We could pull up the map, okay, hydrant here. So I don't
can't wait for that.
Right. Yeah. Timothy says, gentlemen, thanks for being here, and we'll catch up next week.
Of course.
Same time, same
place.
Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and thanks for being a part of our program. And we'll take a break, and we'll be back with more right here on The Morning Show.
In case you don't know us, you're just twisting the dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from out of St. Kitts.
Double up the season with the cable's new permanent internet packages. Have you heard that the cable